now joined by Ward 30 councillor in Orlando East, Soweto, Mohau Molefe. Mr. Molefe, thank you very much indeed for joining us, and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for inviting me to the program, and good evening to the viewers.
Mr. Molefe, you must be concerned that something like this could happen in your ward, but we are getting a sense that gangsterism and criminality is not uncommon there.
Well, before I say a lot regarding what happened, I'd like to put in a disclaimer, to some of, the rumors or statements. It looked like it was a situation whereby there was tribal wars, or there was something that could have sparked what happened at Nomzamo. What happened at Nomzamo, it's something that we all know nothing about. People just came into the space and did whatever they did and left people dead there. So we have no understanding who could it have been. So what we are seeing on the ground is that people are saying it's this ethnic group on top of this ethnic group, this tribal on top of this tribal, accusing each other with all sorts of accusations. What happened at Nomzamo has a potential to spark very serious violence within the community. It has a potential to spark black on black violence, and it has, again, a possibility of sparking tribal wars, as I've already said. So I'd like to put in that disclaimer to say, at the moment, we need to allow police officers to investigate and be clear on what could have happened before jumping the gun, because anything that would be done out of anger without clear clarity on what could have happened will give us more challenges on top of what we have.
All right. Okay. So nobody knows exactly why and what happened. We know what happened, but we don't know why. But the question I asked you is that the area, generally, people complain about gangsterism and criminality. Is this something that you have seen as the ward councillor for the area?
Gangsterism, there's no gangsterism in Nomzamo, because when there are gangsters, it means there's a group of people who are making the community unruly and making sure that each and everything they do, they make sure that they make the community feel unsafe. There are no gangster groups in Nomzamo, but there is crime. And crime happens in every community. That's what I can say. It's just that at times, due to the fact that we are still having challenges of electricity at Nomzamo, Eskom is still trying to resuscitate the energy there. We are having challenges of that place is very dark. Now that it's very dark, it becomes a very, good island for, thugs to roam in that area and do all sorts of things, as much as there's too much vandalism on infrastructure and all sorts of things. So those are some of the challenges that are making it look like that place, crime is very rife. But in terms of what has been said there, in terms of that there are gangsters, there are no gangsters in Nomzamo. But there is crime, like each and every community is experiencing crime.
These lack of lights, is it because of rolling blackouts, or are there just generally poor lighting and damaged infrastructure that's been a problem for a while?
Well, there was damaged infrastructure. I think it's common knowledge to a lot of people that Nomzamo has been without electricity for the past four years, and now we are going to the 5th year without electricity because of some of the things that I don't want to talk about at this stage. But there was a situation whereby the whole community went on a blackout. But currently, Eskom is on the ground trying to fix Nomzamo. The challenge is that there have been issues in between the continuation of the contractor who is appointed to work at Nomzamo with regard to what could have transpired in terms of there was a stabbing of an employee of Eskom, and that delayed some of the work from Eskom.
Unmute yourself again, please, Councillor. Councillor, please unmute yourself. Councillor, please unmute yourself. We can't hear you.
Communication with ESCOM to come and continue to work at Nomzamo.
All right, so if I'm hearing you correctly, what you're telling me is that because the infrastructure hasn't been fixed timeously, this has contributed possibly to the loss of lives over time.
Are you seeing the issue? Are you saying the issue of Nomzamo Park not having electricity is the one that is making
I'm saying it's contributed generally.
the loss of life in that area?
It's generally that some of the crime which may have involved people losing their lives could be because it is so dark there.
No, I don't think so. I don't think I'm in a position to say that could be the cause. You know, there are so many areas in Soweto that have gone for years due to electricity crisis, and that on its own, I don't think could be associated with the fact or with the loss of lives of what could have, of what happened, in fact, in Nomzamo. So issues of electricity crisis are things that are happening in Soweto because of the challenges that we are having of ESCOM and our overloading crisis and so forth and so forth. There are too many factors that are making electricity being a challenge in Soweto and even other areas. But currently, what happened, the blackouts or the fact that we don't have electricity, I can't associate it to what has happened, in fact, in Nomzamo.
All right, let's talk about security then in general. So given that there are no lights, given that it's dark, did the council, did the local authorities, the police increase security to protect citizens during this difficult time?
Well, that one, I think, I'm in no position to respond for SAPS or law enforcement agencies to really confirm that did they increase, because I think we are having a lot of challenges.
Councillor?
Range from the fact that, hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, all right, so you're the councillor,
okay.
you're the councillor for the ward, and your job is to look after your citizens. Wouldn't you be the person to make representations to the police to say, protect my citizens?
Can you repeat that question again? I didn't get it well.
I was just saying that the safety of the citizens in your ward are your responsibility in part, because you can make representations to the police to say, my constituency are concerned about their safety. What can you do to help?
We have engaged with law enforcement agencies, in particular Orlando SAPS. But now that we are having challenges in terms of capacity with Orlando SAPS, we don't have enough fleet. We don't really have enough men and women to assist the situation. We have engaged the station commander. And the challenges in Orlando East are very much big in terms of safety. Orlando Police Station, as I can tell you right now, it's servicing 8 suburbs. So imagine one police station on its own having a shortage of men and women in blue, not having enough fleet, because we don't really respond on time in terms of the challenges on the ground regarding safety, because of we're not having enough manpower. We are not having enough manpower on the ground to safeguard the ordinary lives of the citizens of our communities. So that is the other challenge that we need to address with the police minister, to say we are flooded with suburbs, and the service station, Orlando SAPS, can't really be able to be effective in terms of servicing communities, because it's servicing a large number of communities, and having said that, there's not enough resources on the ground to assist that situation. So that is the engagement that we need to have tomorrow with the Minister of Police, in terms of saying, please give us answers, because we don't really get the right answers whenever we approach the station and the management of the station. So it's a topic for tomorrow, if I may say.
Some residents have raised the issue that the police are afraid to come to this area because it's so dangerous.
The police are afraid is because Well, what they are saying is what they are alleging. I can't really be factual in terms of whether that's
Councillor, we're still struggling to hear you. Can you unmute again?
of the community, because I believe that they signed the oath of office to protect and serve the citizens of this country. So I don't think that there is no way whereby the police officers have engaged with us leaders to say we are having challenges of entering a certain block because of 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
So currently I'm not aware of that allegation. What I can say on record is that we are having a shortage of men and women in blue, and we expect probably that the minister tomorrow will be able to answer
Right.
the challenges that have been faced or the challenges that are faced by ordinary citizens of that community that have resulted to loss of lives and others still fighting for their lives in hospital. So tomorrow we are hoping to get all the answers. Me and you, it is our plan. In fact, it is our initiative tomorrow to ask the minister what could be, the next line of action amid what transpired at Nomza.
All right. Councillor, we've run out of time, but I do have to ask this. If nothing changes, you can't prevent something like this happening again.
Well, I can tell you something. What has happened today, it's something that the state needs to take into cognizance that it has a potential, to continue again if it is not addressed properly. Remember, what happened today, it happened again in Pietermaritzburg, it happened again in Katlehong in the same night, if I remain to be corrected on those facts. But news has been flashing that it happened in Katlehong and it happened again in Pietermaritzburg. And now it's coming back to happen in Soweto. So something is on. There are too many things that have been happening in the past few weeks. Voice notes have been going viral about certain things, about certain group of people being threatened and they have to defend it themselves and so forth and so forth. So forensics and all people who are investigating, intelligence must tell us what could be the motive behind all of these killings that have happened even in all of these other areas across South Africa. So it's a cause for concern for all of us. Well, we will hear what could be the answers that we would get from tomorrow from the minister. So we're hoping tomorrow we'll get a clarity in terms of what will be the next line of action from the Minister of Police.
Councillor Molefe, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very, very much indeed for joining us. Thanks for your time.
Thanks very much.
All right, so that's Councillor Mohau Molefe, who's the ward councillor for this area, Nomzamo, where this tragedy took place. And he's saying, yes, it is a concern, but he's looking to the state to give him some answers. And perhaps he's saying that perhaps there could be a connection with the other tavern killings and other murders that have taken place over the last few days as well.